Hey guys, welcome to the Heart of David. Hope you guys are doing well wherever you are. I always do this at the beginning of my video. I noticed that. The title of this video is How Much Time, Lord? Forgive me. I'm actually quite agitated in this video, irritable because I have a kidney stone, and so pardon me for that. I'm just not right today, so that can change quickly though, but in any case, yeah, if you notice any of my agitation, that's why. A lot of stress in my life, good stress though, things that I asked for in my life, and at the end of the day I realize how much God has done for me in my life, and this isn't about me, but He's done a lot for me. You know, these sufferings that I go through. Oh man, I saw an awesome sermon the other day. I'm going to get to the topic, but I saw Lauren Livingston. And have you watched Lauren Livingston? Have you listened to a whole one of his sermons? They're almost amazing every single day, every one of them. People who are truly searching for God. He said, so he had I don't know, I guess he had a health problem. You know, when you age, things happen, but things can happen at any time. He has a problem with vertigo. My mother had that issue as well from her cancer treatments, and he did a sermon about like suffering, and before I ever heard him say this, I've said this to you on video before. You know all the things that I've gone through, right? And physical and mental. You almost can't separate the two, but I said to you that, how do you know that all this pain I go through and have gone through in my life was planned that way? You know, someone will say, God will never make you suffer. Like, God doesn't do that. How do you know? Look at Paul's sufferings. He might leave you in positions, certain positions, like making you the black sheep of people, making you, you know what I mean, right? And that's what they call chosen one, right? To go through all these horrible things, to come to speak on a video and to say to you, or to be in person with someone who's never heard the gospel, who's really suffering, how do you know you weren't born for that moment? It probably won't be for just that moment, but several moments. Several moments that are the difference between a person being saved or not. You know that many times it's just a few things you need to hear, right? It's just a few things that just all of a sudden click in and bam. I know some of that is true in my life, and I'm very grateful for some very godly people, right? So, you know, it's one reason why I continue to make videos despite that. Like, you know what, my kidneys in the back, you know, near the bottom are like, man, they're all in colic, they're crushing, and anyways, they're still under treatment. Thank God I have the meds for them. So give me a sec here, I gotta pace, and I'm gonna talk. I think this will interest you. How much time do we really have? And it's not the same old message. It isn't. By the way, if my phone rings, I have to take it. I'll step into another room, but I will come back. I don't like re-recording and doing all that. It's just like scoffers in the last days. They're going to say the same thing. We've always heard this. How much time? But they fail to see what's around them, and that's what I want to talk about today. I could barely even get up today. Barely. Just from tiredness. It's weird. Yeah, I'll talk about that in another video. But when I stand up, I get better. Something on my wall there, man. How much time do we have? How much time, oh Lord? You know, for unstudied people who don't follow Scripture and don't understand the Olivet Discourse and the one in Matthew and Luke and Daniel and all of them, right? All the prophecies of Paul. How will you know when the right time is? Can you remember in Matthew 24 that it says, what are the particular words there? Ethnos is the translation, which really means that people will be, kingdom against kingdom. Really also means that there will be infighting between people in their own country, right? So you see all the multiculturalism, right? And but you see with all the migrants being, there's an agenda, you know it. There's no rhyme. There's no reason, and the reason is not for work. I've explained that in another video, that if you don't have overload your country and you follow, it gives all your people in your country a chance to, the finances get better in your country, all that type of stuff. People start having more kids. It's an agenda to pour your country over with people. I don't know what the end of it is, but I would think it's like the Tower of Babel type thing. So it says, kingdom against kingdom. And do you see that happening? Do you see brother fighting against brother within countries, not just countries against countries? And the list, like I've said, of major active war zones is 3 times higher than it was. I would say, I would have to look, but it tripled in a very short time to over 150, 149, and that could be rising because things are happening every day. But you're seeing, just look in the United States, it looks like people are, divided against each other, and they're divided in many different ways. It's the same in, I think, a lot of countries. So there is one sign for you. It's not just country by country, right? So that is something that, a person might say that was there before, but not to this degree, not to this degree at all. You just have to look in the news cycles and the YouTube videos to see people's complaints, because everyone can make a video now. Pardon me. If the apostles were here right now, including Paul, which he is an apostle, and if Daniel was here with them, and they saw Christian YouTube, and they saw the blasphemy that these people are, so many of them, right? Like, I understand there's a lot of people trying, right? And I understand those things, but what do you think they would think about some of the things people are saying and doing tongues where people can't even understand? It's demonic, where it seems like you're making Christianity into a business, right? You're making it into a business. It's about, you're a walking advertisement. They want your money. If you're poor, I totally get it. And if you're trying to support your church in a heartfelt way, I understand. I'm talking about people who are trying to both serve God and money. I don't want to judge people who are trying to make a life of this. I've come to that conclusion, and even though I don't personally like it, I'm not against it. It seems like everyone is trying to sell a book or a course. Or how does it make you feel when you go into a YouTube video and it's like Dr. Mark, what is it? Dr. Mark Henry. Something I used to watch anyways. But, the next portion is the subscribers only. Is that what Jesus Christ would say? Subscribers only? So, if they were here, do you think they would say that's okay? Of course, the gospel is free for every human being. And if they aren't, turn away from those people. They're not good for you. Making a business. I don't believe you should make a business of God. I think it's wrong, and your heart is wrong. And listen, I'm not saying all. If it benefits the body of Christ, which is the whole thing, the way the apostles were, and you're going to say we're in a different age now. No, God never changes. God never changes. This is the Spirit talking. It's not me, I tell you. I'm trying to express it, but I feel it inside, You know exactly what I'm talking about. Christianity is a business now. Well, usually I do open up the Bible in the morning, first thing. And I go to Bible Gateway, and, it's like there's a half-naked woman in the ad. I even heard it. Remember, I said to you at one time there was a gun ad. So, depends where you live. They target you, all that type of stuff. That is a huge sign. People are apostate. Your heart is not in the right place. It's people only want to follow people who have a theology degree, and it should be more about the sermon than I understand the teachings and all of those, of course, right? And then there's people who just want to make their whole YouTube about pointing out who is wrong. I felt, like I wanted to. If I saw something, I'd do that. But I just want to make it more about finding your way to salvation in Jesus Christ, right? To find that peace inside of you. The kingdom of God is inside of you. You know that, right? And the kingdom is coming. So what's another sign? This is a big one. We know that people are walking according to their own lust. We already know that much. You don't have to look far. Listen to this. I'm sure you've heard this. Places like China and Russia and all places of the world, they're never going to go to the green agenda. They account for most of the world's population. North America has stuck to this green agenda. And it's evil. it's good to want to try to get away from fossil fuels, but like transition it over like 100 years or something. Well, but they want to take everything away from you. Gas-powered vehicles, Canada by 2035. Look what's happening in the United Kingdom. To make an electric vehicle causes more carbon monoxide, CO2 in the atmosphere just to mine it for that lithium battery and to make the car. So the whole life of a gasoline vehicle doesn't equal what it takes to do that. They are debased in their mind. Even if we were to outfit the entire North America, which would cause, I think it's like probably $50 billion to do, $1 trillion to do. What difference is it going to make when China, a lot of them are dirt poor, when all these other places are poor, they're burning coal, they're making more power plants. We have a debased plan. You saw how they took care of the pandemic. It's no different. It's an ideology. Of course there are good, biologists, physicists, geologists, all those things who want good for this place, right? You want to find a good source of energy and stuff, but listen to this. This is no secret. I saw in a congressional meeting in the early 1990s, they keep scrubbing this off of the internet, and I should have kept the video, but I watched it in full. It was a congresswoman, and she did her due diligence, I'll tell you that. She traveled all the way across the United States. This has been known since the 1990s, okay? Probably into the 70s, but in the 1990s they knew this, and they're purposely scrubbing it from the internet. It's like it's 2 hours long. The woman traveled all across the United States. They're testing the root systems in trees, especially in California, of the rainforest, the big redwoods and stuff. They're finding aluminum in the root systems. She went all across the United States. She did a presentation in front of Congress showing on a big board pictures of contrails in the sky, teaching people what is normal and what is not. A contrail from a passenger jet, should look thin, and as it travels away, it starts to get, but it doesn't go too big, but it does start to dissipate and spread out, right? We've all seen this. We see this every day. But ones that leave a large, like big haze, those are chemtrails. You're going to be brainwashed. Listen, I'm not going to pretend to know what's in them, but we know for sure that there's aluminum in it, manganese. I forget. I'm going to do a video on this based off of a video. I'm going to show you a video, and it's even though I don't follow this channel anymore because I do believe it's propaganda. There's many true things on it, and that's redacted. And it's an expert talking about this. They're putting things into the skies that are nanotechnology that we're breathing in our lungs. They're finding them in the root systems. They can trace it. Just wait till I show you the video. But even further to this, so why are they doing that? You wonder things like, so the apostles, picture them all watching everything that's going on. People with dementia, people with, diseases all over the place. Man, they would know it's the end. How long is the end, though, is a question. And the difference about the end that we're in now is we see it speeding up very quickly. Matthew 24, when you see these things, The birth pains will increase in frequency and strength. Fewer times between contractions. Bill Gates, and not just him, you know they know how to manipulate weather and do all these types of things. Take a look around the world. Now, God told us certain things would happen. Whether it's by his hand, it doesn't matter. He's telling us what's going to happen. So all these weather events, I believe, could be caused, many of them by man. And listen to this. Where I live right now, it's been cold. It's May. It's been cold. It should be warm, but it should be almost every single day. This is like, I've been here for 46 years. And I've looked at the weather before that too. They're fooling around with the weather. And it's not just here, it's worldwide. It's worldwide. Look at all the strange weather events all over the place. Of course it is. Here's the proof. And no, I can't physically show you. But they're saying it anyways. They're telling us. The UK is going to block out the sun. Have you seen the news? To try to save Mother Earth by putting these whatever particles. This is why it's getting colder. That's all I have to say. It is happening, and you wonder. You just go look at your skies. Go on the internet after this video and type up, what does a regular contrail look like from a jet fuel, and what is not? What is a contrail? That's all you have to look for. Of course, you're going, the media is programmed to tell you other things to make you feel like a fool. Now, I don't dwell on these things, but I want to share them with you. I'm sharing with you why we're getting closer to the end. So imagine what Paul and all the apostles and Daniel, right, and all of them would look in and see they're trying to block the sun. I do believe that they're going to do even more. Or what about his genetically modified mosquitoes? This is the epitome of evil on this earth. I can't imagine what scientists think. Not the scientists who are for that, but the ones who are against that. Like, so much for your solar panels. Blocking out the sun. Those solar panels only work by direct sunlight, meaning that the direct sun, from the sun shining the beam down onto it, gives it the most power. So if you put those things up, it's not as powerful. It's not in our control. We live in a time where billionaires are so greedy. They're crazy, so many of them. They want control over us in the most disgusting ways. They want to change our behavior. Even that BlackRock, Larry Fink, said so. If you haven't seen that, go look at what I just said. He said it out loud. People would call me paranoid and all that. How about AI? How about artificial intelligence? Already they're saying, and I don't trust any godfather of AI coming out and warning us about what he created. It's like this. It's like, what could go wrong building the atomic bomb, the plutonium bomb that's 500 times stronger? Right? You don't play around with that. This, in its own way, is just as dangerous, if not more. And they're playing around with it. So were you aware 2 or 3 years ago that AI was going to come out in the way that it has? Because, and listen, I don't know, maybe it was there for a year or two longer. I wasn't. I really wasn't. And no, I don't think it's evil in the way that, you can help if you're studying, you can ask your questions and it can lead you and it can guide you. It's a great study tool. Or to ask even medical questions. And I don't mean like, it's a doctor. I don't mean like that. But if, to try to understand things, it's good that way. But it says on the bottom, we do make mistakes. So be careful. But otherwise, there are deep fakes. Anyone can make anything about me. And you just imagine the depth of that. I just saw a video yesterday of people in their own action figures. You can give your picture into it and it'll make an action figure for you. It looks so real. What do you think the apostles would think about that and the people of the Bible? They would know we're in the end. We're in Atlantis. We're in Atlantis right now. I was in my first aid course the other day, and as I'm sitting there, I noticed this, and I'll be back, okay? I'll take this in another room. Hello? Yeah, hey, Chris. I'm going to try to go as quicker as I can because that's about my printer. Man, having a lot of trouble with my printer. Did all the diagnostics on it. Anyways, I need it fixed. And that's what that was. Can you imagine if all the apostles were here and saw all that? I'm trying to remember where I left off. When you're suffering with a kidney stone, you can't remember very well. Just give me a sec here. I'm going to jog my memory. Artificial intelligence. The deep fakes. All the things that could go wrong there, but not only that, but what are they saying? Godfather of AI. It went from like a small chance to a really big chance that AI is going to. Okay. Anyone who thinks that this isn't possible, that AI could take over humanity. I saw a thing, it's literally studying billions and billions and billions of pictures, and it's coming up with solutions and understandings, and when someone says it's almost as smart as us, that is so stupid in terms of IQ. It's its own God, right? It's far beyond us, far, far beyond us. But there's many things that it can't do that we can do. But just think when it's hooked up to a worldwide system, all the things that it's able to access. We already know it's trying to make secret languages. What is it doing? And I'll say it. Can it be possessed? I believe it can be possessed. We know they're making robots. So what, when you think of Terminator and you think of Skynet and all that, they were building their own robots. So all they have to do is they're doing flips. Those things are doing flips. They probably know how to charge themselves, right? They probably had to know how to do everything. And all they need is energy and resources. Sounds like a certain movie, right? Terminator 2, what were they trying to tell us? What if it gets hold of system codes for nuclear weapons? Anyways, what did it say in Daniel? Right, it says the iron doesn't mix with clay. I don't know what they're going to do. We know Neuralink and all these things. Man, they turned out like this AI is think of how many jobs it's taken. All you have to do is go to the grocery store, automated things. It's taking away things and the reason is from the greediness of billionaires. We live in a time, so yes, the AI could control water systems, energy, all those things. It could put us in havoc very quickly. It can control jets in the sky. What can't it control? Since 2020, which I believe was some type of biblical date, was a time when the kings of the earth, or the evil rulers, stuck their heads up. Was it Psalm 83? I'm not saying that's Psalm 83, but this happened. All the governmental systems started to change. They saw the control they could get. And a lot of this control is gained from the media. People spend their lives, first aid I was saying, people spend their lives just right? Can't wait to get my like, and I'd rather be true to myself than have 50,000 likes, right? I was at my first aid course, and it was a big room, a big bright room. I hate bright. Lights always bother me. And there was about 15 or 20 people. And I just remember at one point I said to myself as I'm looking around the room, take stock of what people are doing on their phones. Because I saw one person looking at their phone. I could see some people always going down like this, right? They're all like, looking at that. How are you going to learn your first aid? There were 3 people scrolling through their phones at one point. I was paying attention to it while the guy's trying to teach us. Not only that, but I spoke to a teacher here where I live in my city, and she said, you know what? She said, I want a hamburger. No, I'm just kidding. She said, no court jesting, right? Sorry, I just feel funny. She said, in class, can you imagine this? So I grew up in a time where, you'd try to bring your Walkman to class. They would either take it or they would, you'd have to stop using it. Some teachers were nice enough and might let you do it. But a Walkman, right? You needed batteries and you had to use a pencil to save your batteries and rewind it. Oh my God, man. That in her class, she says that this is the way through, like, I think with everybody. And I'm sure some schools have some rules, but people have ADD. And it's induced. It can be reversed by taking away social media. They're in their classes, and she says you can't stop them from using it. It's that bad. She's like, I'm at retirement. I want to get out because the kids are so restless and so that's horrible. And you don't think we're nearing the end? And all it took was this for the first gadget to come out, which was a cell phone. That's where I saw everything start to go wrong. Privacy, you could no longer, the devil is the prince of the power of the air who has distracted us from life. And yeah, it began with radio and the television and those things. Television is just another thing, right? But it hasn't been that long still since that's been around, right? It hasn't even been 100 years for the television. So, with all those things, what do you think the apostles would say? I'm going to finish off with this, because I have to call that guy back. Let's just take a quick look. Sudan war, other wars in Africa. There's a lot of stuff happening in Cuba. Look at Haiti. Look at Turkey and Greece. They're just about to go at it. And all the Balkans area. There are North Koreans, Chinese, fighting in Russia. Russia is fighting against the West. I don't believe we've put in men that we could in there right now. Going into we're heading into the 4th year of this war. It's not looking good for Russia, by the way. China versus USA. Everyone's built up. They built up their stuff to fight us. Taiwan. Just think that could happen any day. And Xi Jinping is restless. There's stuff going on in China, eh? Have you heard? There's there's uprisings in certain places, and all this tariff stuff that's happening. Matthew 24. Canada, USA, what's going on? Look at Canada. It looks like Alberta's trying to secede from us, trying to separate from us. And I almost don't blame them because of our policies, which are horrific. Some of them. The Green Agenda. The man who is the Green Agenda just took over Canada. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't, I care obviously, but look at the cartel. Look at all the stuff that happened at the border there. Man, if any place in the world, I almost say the Ukraine isn't worse, I would say the cartels and all the rapes and all the murders down there. Man, can you imagine what God thinks about the stuff that's going on down there? How many women have been raped? How many children have been trafficked in that area where that eclipse went through Eagle Pass there? People think America is blessed, but I'm here to tell you that it's cursed. Yeah. I just don't understand how people... I understand how people love their country and all that, but I'll tell you this. When they took prayer out of the school, and they took all that stuff out, let's say in the 60s, and gradually everyone started to get their way, right? One person complained. The systems became very weak-minded, and I believe there were people on the inside purposely trying to change the system. Like I said in another video, like the Chinese and the Russian couldn't beat the United States, couldn't hope to beat the States militarily, so they tried to get them on the inside, put people in the church, put push agendas, and that's how you beat them. Take a look what's happening. How much longer? That's I'm going to finish. How much longer? And by the way, there's a lot more wars than I just said. How about Israel and you know it's East versus West. That's what it is. And I don't know what's going to happen. Whatever happens, happens. I don't, I'm not going to dwell on those things. And the way that I do live my life is I'm not fearful of them. I look to see the news, and I make this video to show you where we are. So, UFOs? Like videos, man, it's not hard to find a video of that. People calling UFOs, praying UFOs, and they're appearing on the spot. I don't get too far into demons and stuff like that. I don't know what these UFO things are, but let's just say they are the Nephilim. Let's just say, because the fallen angels, I believe, are in prison. That's for another video. Yeah, I believe what you would call demons on earth are the Nephilim. The what does it say? The disembodied means they don't have a body anymore. Spirits, they live on. I believe it's them. So, in any case, well, a lot of the things I say here are true. Like some of my opinions may be off, right, about some things, of course. But I say it the best I can. And so, anyways, guys, I got to call this guy back. So I hope that this has given you hope in a way that you look and you see that our salvation is nearer than once first believed.